As you can see, there's no major renovations on the outside of the property that would warrant $169,000 increase.
Damian lives in District 6, which includes parts of the River West, Brewers Hill, and Harambe neighborhoods. According to the Milwaukee Assessor's Office, the district saw more than a 25% increase in residential property valuations this year, the highest in all districts. Last year, it was almost 7%. To be clear, these assessments show the value as of January 1st, 2020, before the pandemic.
25% would seem a lot. I mean, to me, they're high already.
I'm happy about the new development downtown, but at the same time, I don't want to be victimized.
Steve Miner is the commissioner of assessments for the city of Milwaukee. He attributes the increase to a strong market and high demand.
To do that, we look at the most recent sales, and the sales that took place in 2019 are what guided us for the new assessments.
Miner says it's too early to tell how the pandemic will affect next year's valuations. People can appeal their assessments over the next 3 weeks, which Damian plans to do. And while the assessor's office says this doesn't necessarily mean your taxes will go up, Damian is preparing for it anyway.
To try to go to a tenant and justify, needing to increase the rent by a couple $100 a month or something to absorb such an increase, who would want to be the landlord that would be in a position to say that?
Chani Rasavong has owned this home on West Galena for more than 20 years. He rents it out, and he was shocked when he got this year's tax bill. He has to pay more than $3,500. He paid a little more than $900 last year. That's a 286% increase. The bill shows his property was assessed at nearly $139,000. Online property records show that's $100,000 more than last year. Chani said he was really confused.
I just do a regular maintenance on there to keep the property up to code. There's no new improvements on there, and that's why I was really shocked.
The city of Milwaukee's assessment commissioner, Steve Miner, took a look at it, and he says Chani is not alone. Assessments are based on recent sales of similar properties, which he says have gone up due to high demand and low interest rates.
Even if a property owner hasn't changed their property, if the market in their neighborhood or similar properties have increased, then their value will increase also.
Back in April, the city assessor's office mailed out its assessments, which were calculated before the pandemic. Citywide, residential values are up almost 12%. Some districts saw larger increases than others. Chani is way above the average assessment in his district by about $85,000.
If yours is going up significantly more than the average, then that's what's going to impact the tax bill at the end of the year.
Some Milwaukee Common Council members tried to freeze the assessments back in May, but that didn't pass. Instead, the city extended the deadline to appeal by a few weeks. Chani never appealed, and now he says he'll struggle to pay.
That's pretty ridiculous.
The city assessor's office says you won't get a new assessment next year unless there's a physical improvement to the property, but you can still appeal your assessment.
Well, the city assessor says a big part of it has to do with high housing demand, as well as low interest rates, as well as rising home sale prices. Well, for some homeowners, their rising property tax assessments and property tax bills are hard to stomach. If you're in the market for a house, you know that it's a hot one. The pandemic not cooling home sales. Wisconsin Realtors Association says the state's on record pace as low inventory pushes sale prices higher. And the city says one of the drivers behind the rising assessments and property tax bills.
I was astounded. 61% increase from last year.
Tom Ostro was born in this 100-plus-year-old duplex in River West. The 65-year-old FedEx retiree on Social Security, suffering from sticker shock as his 2020 tax bill now totaling more than $6,400.
It's a lot for everybody in this stressed economic times.
6 miles to the south,
I was in shock. I couldn't believe it.
Marisol Guerrero's tax bill increasing by 37%. Both Guerrero and Ostro's property assessments going up in 2020. Ostro's increasing by $92,000, Guerrero by $67,000, which she appealed, hiring a broker, and is still waiting for the board of review to make a decision.
Not to 60. That's definitely not a value that I was thinking that they would assess my property at.
As the market keeps changing, we keep running our reports and seeing the increase in prices, and it's It's pretty significant.
The city pointing to hot housing neighborhoods like River West, Harambe, Bayview, low interest rates, inventory, and bidding wars trending assessments upward even before the pandemic. In 2019, about 2,000 people appealed their assessments, 5,600 in 2020. A backlog that's still being sorted out. With the first 2020 tax payments due in January and other assessments in the wings, Guerrero hoping for a fair resolution.
I did my homework, and that's what sucks. It's what sucks, and not everybody can do that.
Now, you can't appeal your 2020 tax bill as the window to appeal your 2020 assessment closed last spring. The Board of Review will be working through 2021 on the 2020 assessment appeals, and the city says, though, you should continue to pay your property taxes as listed on your bill to avoid being late. And if the Board of Review makes a change on your assessment, a refund will be mailed to you.
Let's step up.